Green. Now, children in need, it's that time of year once again, isn't it? And the Rickshaw Challenge is back, travelling through the country. Over the years, this has just raised millions of pounds for charity. Matt Baker back in the saddle this year for it as well. You'll hear from him in just a moment, but you'll remember, of course, the Rickshaw team have travelled through Lincolnshire on several occasions. And when they were last with us in 2016, I caught up with Matt. I'll play you a little bit of my chat with him in a moment, but first you might remember these scenes. People on the side of the roads cheering and whooping as the cyclists came past. Here they come now, flanked by motorbikes and the production team in their branded Rickshaw Challenge vehicles. Matt Baker just waving to the crowds there with Pudsey in the back of his rickshaw. Just waiting now for the young cyclists to follow through. Crowds cheering. They've been waiting a long time, bless them, to see the Rickshaw Challenge come through Belchford, followed now by more of the production team waving, looking very tired indeed. I'll just grab a few people who've been waiting to see throwing money in the bucket. How long have you been waiting to see the Rickshaw Challenge come through?
Oh, round about an hour and a half, yes.
Was it worth it?
Yes, it was. Yes, yeah. They've done a marvellous job.
Yeah.
I made them a cake.
Oh, did you?
Yes,
oh,
yeah. Made a cake just for the riders, and then put and Matt as well.
Yeah. Oh, where's the cake?
I gave it to the fundraisers so that they could pass it on to them, because they said that they wouldn't be stopping. So.
Well, I hope they enjoy that.
Yeah.
I don't know whether Matt Baker actually got the cake. We must ask when we catch up with him in a moment. But that was scenes in Belchford in Lincolnshire when the Rickshaw team travelled through. That was November 2016. They were heading towards Skegness. And as usual with these type of challenges, there were delays, of course. It takes longer, doesn't it, than anticipated. And I remember waiting with Melvin in Skegness for them to arrive. It was bitterly cold, as you can imagine, dark evening, but the crowds were certainly out in force. You might have been there as well. And so many people donating as well, throwing pounds and notes into buckets. So it was brilliant to be part of that. And I did catch up with Matt, and he told me what he thought about cycling through Lincolnshire.
We've done over 2,500 feet of climbing, which you don't really expect in Lincolnshire, but
No.
It's been lumpy, that's why. And it's quite tricky, a rickshaw like that, because it doesn't roll. When you don't pedal it doesn't go anywhere.
Yeah.
So it's actually it's really difficult. But do you know what? The team spirit within Team Rickshaw is a special force, it really is, and
Well,
they're
it would
doing
have to be.
brilliantly. They're doing.
Everybody assumes Lincolnshire is flat, but like you say, there are some
Yeah.
hills, and Belchford is actually known for its soapbox challenge. Which
Oh, really?
is,
The soap- oh, tell me about the soapbox
So basically,
challenge,
that
right?
is a downhill race.
Right.
So I think you're now going up
Also, you
that
jump on it
hill.
at the top, and then it's a sea.
Yeah,
Right, okay.
and you're going to have to go up it.
Ah.
No, you're not really. I think you're avoiding
Well,
that
no,
one.
but to be fair, I mean, some of the hills that we have climbed obviously go up, up over the Scottish borders,
Yeah,
from
yeah.
Jedburgh was just incredible. So really, there's nothing that the team haven't come across so
Yeah.
far.
Matt Baker there chatting to me in Belchford, Lincolnshire. That was in 2016. And he's back in the saddle this year. Hello, Matt.
Oh, that takes me back. It takes me back. I still haven't done the box challenge, by the way.
Well, you need to do it, absolutely. Gosh, it takes me back as well. I can't believe it was 3 years ago, to be fair.
Oh, man.
But
Well,
I
I
mean,
actually came through Lincolnshire on the very first one as well. My
I know.
word, that was 9 years
I
ago.
know. And you kept
which,
us waiting then as well.
I did, yeah. Do you know, that's where, the tradition of spending 16 hours a day in the saddle came from. But lovely. But yeah, no, we're doing number 9 again. And do you know what? I just can't not do it. I can't not do it. And I'm so excited about what's to come in the next week. We're setting off, as you say, Friday morning from Holyhead. But 400 miles this year.
Goodness. Good, but you're not coming through Lincolnshire, Matt. We're devastated.
No, I know. Well, I thought we've done it twice. We've sapped you dry of your donations. No. Yeah, we're going. It'll be a good route this year. We're sort of cycling off through Snowdonia. So if anybody's heard of the landscape around there, let me tell you, that will be challenging. But again, as always, year after year, I've got such an inspirational team that I'm going to be cycling alongside. And I can't wait for them to feel what's to come, you know. As we were talking there, and you heard that clip, it's life-changing for these youngsters, you know. And for me at this stage, it's almost like I've got a Christmas present that I'm about to give to somebody, and they don't really know how brilliant it's going to be for them and how life-changing it's going to be. And they'll grow in confidence, and will just... I mean, you know, raising that much money, we're talking 25 million quid now that's been raised for children in need. And when you think of the difference that that's made, and all of these youngsters are only doing it so that youngsters who are in the position that they used to be in are going to get all of that help and that care and vital care.
Just after I spoke to you in that interview, I spoke to some of the young people who were cycling with you. A young lady called Ebony, and
oh yes,
I mean, she, you know, almost moved to tears just talking about the experience, exhaustion probably as well. But
yeah,
it was,
that's right. Yeah.
Who have you got with you this year, Matt?
Yeah, so well, for the first time ever, we're going to be able to have a totally blind rider on board the rickshaw, and this is all thanks to McLaren, who've designed this bike with it's kind of got a recumbent bike on the front of it, so it's a little bit like a go-kart. So I'll sit in that and pedal and steer, and then that'll be connected to the rickshaw, so that our blind rider, who comes in the shape of Kelsey this year, he can be part of it. So that is, I mean, I just can't wait to see how this is going to go. Yeah, so we've got Kelsey, we've got Adele, who has come through leukemia, and she contracted leukemia after she lost her best friend to exactly the same condition, can you believe? So she knew exactly what she was going to have to go through because of what she'd seen from her best friend. I mean, you just can't imagine it, can you? We've got Uche, who is a knife crime victim. We've got Josh, who's a young carer who has sacrificed most of his childhood, you know, for the care of his younger brother. So I can't wait for him to have the best week of his life. We've got Emma, who was born with most of her organs on the wrong side of her body, and she had all of these operations when she was a baby. And then 2 years ago, she had a brain seizure and had to learn to walk and talk again. We've got Thomas, who has cerebral palsy and ADHD, and he's an absolute firecracker, let me tell you. He's a brilliant young lad. So yeah, a very, very inspirational team this year. And like I say, I just can't wait to get going.
And I remember following you once we'd spoken at Belchford. I followed you to Skegness, where you finished, and driving along the road, I was just amazed at the numbers who were out, just throwing money in buckets and supporting you. I mean, it's such a big thing, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It is. And yeah, so I don't know if anybody's planning on venturing near that route at all. But as previous years, you know, we put a little beacon up on the website so that you can see exactly where we are and you can track our progress. I've joined Instagram for the first time so that you can see all the behind the scenes stuff as well. But yeah, any way that you can show your support, you know, it's greatly, greatly appreciated, because it is that keeps the rickshaw going. But yeah, and again, you know, whatever time of day it is, first thing in the morning, people are out in dressing gowns, just on the sides of the roads, just wanting to show their respect and their admiration for these youngsters and what they're putting themselves through, really, for children in need. And I think it's such a tangible cause. You know, if you want to give a donation, it's such a brilliant thing to donate to, because it is those youngsters. It's going straight there. 100% of your donation, it's going to children in need. And this year, Sir Tom Hunter has said that for every £1 that's donated, the Hunter Foundation is going to give 40p on top of that. Can you believe that?
Yeah,
I mean, it's unbelievable. So if you chuck a tenner in, it's going to turn into 14 quid this year. It's unbelievable. So generous. And yeah, so like I say, it's coming up. It's Friday. Let's get cracking.
Let's get cracking. I've got to ask about the cake. I played a clip of a lady who'd been waiting to see you when you came through Lincolnshire in 2016.
Oh, yeah.
She'd made you a cake, but we didn't know whether you'd received it or not. Can you remember that far back?
Do you know, we take a lot of cake on board. We have a great team of people that collect donations and collect food and collect collect all sorts. I'd be very surprised if it wasn't swept up by our wonderful people that do collect all the stuff and chuck it into various vehicles and vans that are behind us. And it's all greatly appreciated, because a lot of that baking is made with a lot of love, and that's what keeps the thing going. So I will say a royal yes that we did receive the cake, because I'm sure we will have done.
Yeah, I think you've hit the nail on the head. A lot of love. There is always a lot of love for this challenge, isn't there?
Yes,
And
yeah.
although you might not feel it all the time when you're pedaling those miles.
Oh,
but,
we do. To be honest with you don't notice when you hear people cheering. You really don't.
but good luck with it. And sorry you're not coming to see us, but we'll follow you anyway on TV, certainly.
I love you all in Lincolnshire for everything you've done for the Rickshaw Challenge over the years.
Thank
You've done
you
your
very
bit, that's for
much.
sure.
Good luck, Matt. Thank you
you.
very much.
Thank you.
Lovely to speak to Matt Baker there, who is once again back in the saddle for the Rickshaw Challenge. Children in Need, travelling from Holyhead to Elstree this year. Hundreds of miles they'll be travelling, millions of pounds they'll be raising. And I know we've certainly played our part in the Rickshaw story over the years, putting pennies, pounds and notes into buckets. And of course, I know there'll be plenty going on in Lincolnshire for Children in Need, BBC Radio Lincolnshire as well, with our own challenges. So hopefully we can follow Matt and the Rickshaw team on TV if we don't actually see them in the flesh this time round, but certainly good luck to them.